basically get schools producing children who don't get jobs because there's nobody to employ them, who then hang around getting an absolutely useless bachelor's degree in some university, which also doesn't get them jobs. And then they, by hook or by crook, take some industrial course on something or the other and push off to Los Angeles to do coolie's work, the equivalent of a coolie. Okay, so if you want that to happen to all our children, then we can relax with the changes.
Actually, we are creating bookworms, and the research makes them stand out.
Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in the reading, but as I said, they read enough. They read, in fact, the ones who didn't read before, I find that they're reading much more because they read those little snippets on futurism, on this, on that, continuously go on reading this. So all that is fine. It's just that what you said, that what does the system have to do? And unfortunately, the only answer I can give is that either you can prepare for it from now, or you have to wait until, you know, everybody, all the parents go up in arm and saying, what have you done? Let's try something at the back. I'm sorry, I'm giving more attention to the front. Okay, here, Ria. Yes.
So this question might sound a very silly one though, but I don't know, I'm just trying to get the courage to ask this. So I done a play school, sir, and I have already started making a chaos out of it. And I mean, I just wanted to do that because what you're today saying is making sense to me, because that's how I introduce myself, that brain development intrigues me, and out of that curiosity and out of that, you know, that question mark in my brain that I keep doing it. So a lot of chaos I do in my school, and I'm going to do it more. So the other side is the parents and then the society and my expert colleagues. I don't know whether they would accept it. So there's one question, and another thing, that the kind of investments that I do, it's huge. So I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I know that's a very silly question, but I think I need some answer from the expert like you. Did you understand my question?
No.
This is actually this intrigue. So I'm saying that what you're talking about, the chaotic class with an organized way of organizing the children. So I'm doing it in my school, my way. So, a lot goes into it, right? A lot of courage that you, go against the tide, so there is no toddler class, there's no nursery class, there's no, UKG or LKG. In my school, we just go just to make the brains better in terms of learning. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just going against the, what the market is doing. So I'm saying whether I would get admissions, because I've done a lot of investment in that. So there's one question, and another thing, who will validate that I'm doing wrong or right,
Well, the first question is, doesn't have to be expensive. What I was telling you about self-organized learning environments, that actually costs very little to do. It's about 5 computers, a little bit of paint. So that's easy enough to do. And but a more valid question is that what's going to happen at the end of it. But if you're working with very young children, if you're working with children below the
age of 5, yeah.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7 years old, you actually have an opportunity, because the system will let you, because they're not really interested in what you're doing at that age. They will come in later on, after I think 5th standard. So whatever you can do in that age is actually very beneficial.
Right, sir.
The only thing is you have to be able to explain that to the parents.
Right, so that I'm able to do, but I think it requires a lot of infrastructure. On Friday, that one parent comes in and say, hey, I believe in you, but not in your infrastructure. I said, wow.
Well, infrastructure is a problem. I have a problem with infrastructure also, but that's you have to go to the industry to ask for help. And I do that very often. I go to computer manufacturers and I say that give me computers that will work in the field in a village. Don't give me computers that only work inside boardrooms. And they have a bad enough time trying to do that. But we have to keep asking for it.
Yeah, so I think that's why I feel myself very lucky. So whenever I try to find answers, I think that's where Ravi called me and said, why don't you come over? So thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, I think maybe we should take one more. Yeah, please.
There is a lot of information out there on the web which is popular, but it's completely wrong. For example, the myth that we use only 10% of our brains, it's a myth. The myth that we can see the Great Wall of China from space is completely wrong. So in such cases, wouldn't the conventional instructor-led system have some value? Or how does one handle this problem that exists with the internet?
Well, I mean, firstly, the first part of your question is accurate, that yes, all this stuff is there. The second part, what will you do with an instructor, is that many instructors also don't know whether it's right or wrong.
Expert instructors would do the research and know what's spurious information,
but for-
spurious sources and renowned sources.
But for how many things will you do it? It's better than that. What I try to do is to see if I can train the children, not train, but if I enable the children to learn how to distinguish between correct and incorrect facts. To give you an example, very recently in Singapore, the question I'd given to the children, they were about 12 years old, to find some funny lines from Shakespeare, something humorous. And they found quite a few. Some really funny lines, of which one struck me as excellent, and all of us were laughing about it. The line was, "Sir, I invited you for a battle of wits, but I find you have come unarmed." Which I thought was really nice. I thought, this is fabulous. Just look at the... But then it just struck me. I said, are you sure that Shakespeare wrote it? And it turned out he didn't. Somebody else did. So, and it was, coming in under that sort of thing. So, anyway.
Here you have the role of the expert instructor, which is exactly what I'm saying. So you have one is internet access only, and the other is the granny system. And the third is an expert instructor. You were the expert in this case.
Yeah, well,
either gave them an information or told them how to search for all that.
That was because this was an example that I was doing. The ideal situation that I would like to get to is where you don't need the experts and they know how to figure it out. Many times they do that. If they see two websites saying different things, they look for a third website, compare. All this they learn amongst themselves. But this is a very important skill that they need for themselves. The other thing is that you cannot build a system dependent on experts in most countries, including this one, because in the kind of schools that I work in the middle of the Sundarbans, where am I going to get the experts from? The granny cloud, yeah, maybe once a week they'll come in. So the children need to know how to detect it, and they're getting more and more sensitive to this whole thing. Just as an aside, by the way, in case you have any history teachers in here, a wonderful soul question in history is you ask them to find some fact, okay, anything. When was the Battle of Plassey fought, and who fought with whom, and what happened? Give them the internet, they search all of that. Everything is going fine, the children are happy, oh, we found out all these facts, and then I told the teacher, and etc. But at the end of the session, you say, okay, I want you to do one more thing. I want you to tell me, how do you know this is true? And then sit back and watch the fun. That's when they'll learn really what the meaning of history is. Where do these facts, where does the evidence come from, etc., etc. So it's up to your imagination, but the less the more expert-free we can make the system, the better.
Thank you.
All right. I think, Ravi, maybe we should now take our 15-minute break and then reassemble. 3:15.